Well, I get to bring up, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time edifying this gentleman because everybody here knows who he is. But I'm going to tell you, this guy changed my life and probably the lives and rip of everybody in this room. Super individual that has a heart of gold. Let's bring back up, stand to our feet, Mr. Dana Harper.
An entertainer, right? Like every time you go up, you know you're gonna laugh, you're gonna enjoy yourself. And I've told him this recently, so he knows this. It's not gonna be a surprise to him, but I believe he literally is one of the best speakers and trainers, not just in our team, not just in Kiani, but in the entire industry. And he's absolutely incredible. Even though I know the first time, he'll tell you, the first time I tried to have him do a presentation, he was so mad, he was so nervous, he was shaking, but he is literally, to me, one of my favorites to listen to. So let's give him a round of applause. All right, so what do you do when you start a brand new distributor? Mr. James Bradford asked that question earlier, and we're going to be on page number 9. He asked that question when you talked about that story, right? And the story was that the person said, well, I told him to come to the event. And he said, that's your problem. You need to launch them. So we're going to talk about today how to properly launch your brand new distributors. And here's what I'll tell you is that I'm not going to ask in the room how many people have done a launch. I'm not going to ask that because I don't think I'm going to like the answer. Because here's what I will tell you. Many of us think, well, that's the role of my upline, right? My Ruby should do it, my Emerald should do it, my Diamond should do it, my Sapphire should do it. But here's what I'll tell you is that a launch is very, very simple. And if you've got customers yourself, if you've brought on business partners yourself, if you've run the power play, in my mind, you're qualified to do a launch. Because that's all we do in a launch is teach them the basic things. Help them take the first step to do the basic things. And if you've done it, do you think you can if you've done something, can you show somebody else how to do it? Yes. Absolutely. So we're going to learn today how to do an effective launch. That's my topic. Launching and following the system. And we're going to be on page 9. And first and foremost, what is the purpose of a launch? Can you guys tell me? So spit it out. What's the purpose? If you could just break it down to a few words, what's the purpose of a launch?
Get them started right.
Get started right. I like it. What was that? Duplication? What else?
Put something in motion.
Put something in motion. I will take that as ding, 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 because even more simple terms, take action. The whole purpose of a launch is to get the brand new business partner to take action. This is why we get with them. This is why we sit down with them. Because most people don't take action on their own for a lot of reasons. We're going to get into that. But when we get with that person within 24 to 48 hours of them getting started, we help them. And as one of the speakers said, we grab their hand, and Mr. James Bradford talked about that. Grabbing their hand and helping them along. That's what a launch is, helping them start taking action. And why do we have to do that? Because when everyone joins your team, they step on this little drawbridge. They get on this little drawbridge, right? And it makes me think of the movie Indiana Jones. What was that? Not the Raiders. What's the second one? The Tomb one.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. Temple of Doom. That's right. Temple of Doom, right? You guys remember Temple of Doom? Indiana Jones. I'm dating myself, right? And at the very end, right, there's that drawbridge. It's made out of rope, right? And they're trying to get across it. And it's like waving, and they're looking down, and there's this huge just pit. right? With water at the bottom, and there's alligators down there. You remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember how fearful they were trying to get across that bridge?
Yeah.
And this is the same thing. This is a nice analogy when someone joins your team. See, when they eventually decide to join your team, they're still on solid ground. That's the most excited they're going to be. But from the moment that they've entered their information and hit submit and signed up, from that moment, they now stepped onto this bridge. And it's now swaying. And now they're looking down and they see the pit. And they need help, right? They need help. And what happens is most people get them on that bridge and they say, good luck, congratulations, you'll make it to the top, I'll see you later, right? And they leave that child. Remember when we say someone joins your team, it's like a baby, right? We need to nurture it. But can you imagine a baby put them on that drawbridge and say, see ya, and you go across the bridge and you're like, come on, come on. I mean, that's a scary situation to be in. Because that brand new distributor, that brand new business partner most likely will fall. And as the book says on page 9, fall into the Kyani black hole. So our job is to help them get through this bridge, to get them to solid ground. I'm going to come back to this in a second, but I want you to understand the psychology of a brand new rep, right? You see this picture on page 9. It says you must understand the two biggest enemies we fight in the business to really understand why our system is the way it is. Number one is time. Look at this graph here. You see on the left the value of excitement, and then we see time. And what happens is when a brand new person gets started, they're over here on this side, right? And their excitement is high, but as time goes on, naturally their excitement is going to go down. I don't care who you are, I don't care where you live, every person is going to see this happen. Their excitement is going to start going down over time, and their fear is going to start going up. And however long it takes, whether it's days, usually it's within days, when their excitement gets down low, their fear is greater than their excitement, that's when they fall into the black hole. That's when the aliens abduct them. You can't find them anymore. They're missing in action, right? They're witness protection program, right? They're gone. And so we have to understand that time is an enemy. We have 48 hours to get them results. Why do you think we say launch the rep within 24 to 48 hours? Because we're fighting this time that we have. Number two is human behavior. People are naturally negative and want instant gratification. They're used to working Monday through Friday, and on Friday I get what? A paycheck. That's what people are conditioned that way. So they want instant gratification. So we're fighting against that. If they don't see Kyani working within 1 to 7 days, they usually start losing interest and excitement. So let's go back to the success bridge. At page 9, you'll see right under the success bridge, there's kind of a column, right? This is the success bridge. This is what you need to focus on to get somebody through that bridge so that they don't fall through the black hole of Kyani. And so, if you noticed, exposure, right? So, proper closing, proper follow-up and closing, you will do all the work to get the person started, and they finally start. And that, as I mentioned, that's the last time they're on solid ground. And you did all that work, but as Mr. Bradford mentioned, we do all the work to get the person started, and then we drop the ball on the most important time, and that's when they step now onto the success bridge. That's the most important time with the brand new business partner. That's when you need your game, you got to raise your game at that point. And so what do you do? Now here's what's exciting, is many of you know that we have a system we've used for a very, very long time. And for the longest time, we've kept it kind of as a hidden system. And now we're trading it. And we got Mr. Bradford in the room and Saran. And so now it's like a coming out, right? We're all coming out. Our system's going to be hurt, right? But that's okay. Because this is something that, it's no different. We just add a couple extra tools, right? And it's the same concept. Because we need to get people going. We got to get people on the success bridge. How many people have experienced this where the brand new person gets started, they're excited. I'm not going to have you raise your hands. And They go home that night after the presentation, they sign up, they're excited, and they go to their wife or their spouse or their significant other, and they're like, I'm so excited, I just joined something, we're going to change our life forever, we're going to get rich, it cost me $12.99, it was incredible. And the spouse says, what? And then they reach out to one of their best friends, and they say, listen, I just joined a business, I need $12.99 of your money right now, we're going to be rich together. And the friend goes, what? And then the next morning they're excited, they go to sleep that night, the next morning they wake up and they go, what did I just do? Right? They lose that excitement. Who can relate to that, right? I felt that way the next morning I woke up and I was like, what did I just do last night? You know? And then you schedule that launch, maybe it's 24 or 48 hours. Sometimes you might can't, it's 72 hours, right? So now 3 days have gone by, and they show up to the launch, and now you wonder, like, hey, 2 days ago they were excited, and now they're at the launch and they're like, you know? You're trying to get them all excited, they're like watching you, and now they're real analytical, right? They're asking you all the questions, well, how does this work, how does that work? And you're like, what's going on? A couple days ago they were like fired up. I'm telling you what happened. They went home and started doing the things you don't want them to do. They started talking to the wrong people. They started getting punched in the face already because they were verbally vomiting, not knowing what they're doing. So it's important. Speed of this system is important to start moving somebody through, because as soon as they sign up, they're on that bridge now. It's shaky. And here's a secret weapon that we have that we found. I believe between the time they sign up and the time you launch them, that is a critical window of time where a lot of things can go wrong. And I've seen it over and over. It is a critical time. You know, that's why, I forget who mentioned this. Somebody mentioned this, maybe it was the other Diamond University. But the best case scenario is you launch, or you start someone right now, and you launch them immediately. Right? That's the best case scenario. But how many times does that really happen? Somebody gets started, you know, they came to the meeting, they spent all that time in the meeting, and they're like, hey, let's launch right now. They're like, hey, it's like 10 o'clock at night. I need to go home. I've been here for 3 hours, you know? So normally, there's a window of time. Hey, can we launch tomorrow? Hey, can we launch the day after that? There's that window of time. And that window of time is when they do the things you don't want them to do. They talk to the spouse. They test the waters. They do what you want. Yeah, you want them to talk to their spouse. But not trying to explain the business, right? So, if you look at the diagram, we have something, right, that all of you should be familiar with. It's called what? A pre-launch. And what is a pre-launch? It's something that they do before the launch. Simple, right? Now, it doesn't change when we do the launch. We still do the launch in 24 to 48 hours, but that window of time, that's still 24 hours. And I'm a little nervous what they're going to do. So I want to keep them busy. I want them to start doing things that I need them to do for the launch. And of course, we find that. Where do we find the pre-launch video? Where do we find it? FollowTheSystem.net. Okay, FollowTheSystem.net is our support website that we've had for a long time, last couple of years, right? And that's where we find that pre-launch video. So now, they're pre-launch. Now they come to the launch. At the launch, we teach them, you know, and we help them focus on their why, help them hit Garnet. We talk about the power play and help them get towards the power play. And we take action. Notice it says take action. I would circle that, I would highlight that, I would underline it. That's the most important part of the launch, is taking action there with them. We set appointments, their next PBI, the next Zoom meeting, and we schedule them for the next event, make sure they know about the next event. That's a launch. Very simple. And again, if you've done it, if you've got customers, if you have people that are in your team, you're qualified to teach them how to take action. You know what to do. You did it. Whatever you do, you show them how to do it. And it's okay if you're not an expert, if you're not great. It doesn't matter. You're better than them. You know more than them. Just remember that. It's something my grandmother actually taught me a long time ago. It was something not related to this, but it's the same mentality. She says, always remember one thing. When you're talking to someone and you're teaching something, even if you feel like you're not the expert, she says, just remember you know more than they do about the topic. And it's the same thing here. They're brand new, they don't know anything. So you're going to be helping them along the way. After the launch, the key now is to help them get results within 1 to 7 days. Help close a business partner or get a customer. This is so important because what we learned that people need that instant gratification. They need to see those results. Then, they're still on that drawbridge though. So many people will launch somebody and they're like, okay, good luck. And then they leave. And you just left them in the middle of the drawbridge. They still in their girlfriends. It's like swaying, the wind is blowing. They're like, we still need to work with them to get them on solid ground. That's giving them the results. That's making sure they attend to an event within that first 1 to 7 days. The event, they're going to see social proof. They're going to hear testimonials. They're going to get inspired. Then we're going to make the goal of making sure they hit Garnet within 7 to 31 days. Why? Because that's going to get them paid. It's going to get them a check, get them money. That's going to get them excited. And that's going to get them pretty much on solid ground, but of course, we want to get them into leadership events, right? Within their first, 31 plus days, you're getting them into mindset training, skill set training, events like this. And that's when now they're on solid ground. Doesn't mean you leave them forever, but they're solid now. You can kind of step back a little bit, the intensity that you're spending with that person. But I'm telling you, that from the beginning of that drawfish to the end, I'm on that person like white on rice. Right? It's an intensity that I'm working with that person because I don't want them to fall through the black hole of kayaking. Does that make sense? So, let's talk about steps to success. Page number 11. No, 12. Page 12. So this is a document that goes along with our pre-launch. It's called Steps for Success. And this document can be found because it talks specifically about follow the system and our technique. So guess where you find this document? Followthesystem.net, right? Followthesystem.net, menu, and build your business, downloads and documents, right? And you'll see this document, and it's tied with the launch document as well. So every new partner's journey begins with the Team Fusion Steps to Success. And this document goes along with the pre-launch. So here's the best case scenario. You bring somebody into the business. So they came to the meeting and they sign up, you brought them to the leaders, they talk, at the end they sign up. Great. My next question to the person is, when can we get you launched? I need to sit down with you and actually help you start having success in your business. How's that sound? That sounds great. We need to do that as soon as possible. What's your schedule like over the next 24 to 48 hours? On free tomorrow. Great. I locked in the launch. Locked in their schedule and my schedule, locked in. Now, I'm giving them some homework. And here's what I do. I give them this sheet. And I say, great, between now and then, between now and tomorrow at 7 p.m. when we do your launch, between now and whatever it is, this is the only thing I want you to do. The only thing. I give them the pre-launch Steps to Success. I say, go to followthesystem.net, subscribe and watch the pre-launch video and follow these steps. I'll show you exactly what to do. And just do all that, and that will actually make our launch together go much more easier and faster. Does that sound fair? And they say, yeah, that sounds good. So we use this document. So to do that, to give the document when they actually get started, what does that mean that you have to do as a leader? You got to be prepared. You have to print these out and have them on hand and use them. Now, if you don't have it on hand, don't worry. You just drop them to the website. Hey, set up the launch. Between now and then, go to followthesystem.net. I want you to subscribe and watch the pre-launch video. There's actually a document. When they watch the video, they can actually access the document as well. So you can let them know. When you watch the video underneath, push the button, download the document, and you can actually go through it as a guide as you watch the video. But and we'll talk about the importance of this when this does. So, as they go through the pre-launch video, step one, they go to followthesystem.net. They subscribe to our team email list. I'll talk about the importance of this here in a second. Number two, they watch the pre-launch welcome video, and they complete these steps, these steps of success along with the video. And step three is they get launched. That's it. It doesn't change anything. You're still doing the launch at the time that you're supposed to do it within 24 to 40 hours. This is just keeping them busy doing things you want them to do between the time they get started and the time they launch. Is this making sense, yes or yes?
Yes.
Okay, so why is the pre-launch so important? Number one, it introduces the new business partner. This is not in your book. This introduces the new business partner to their diamond leadership. And it shows them early on a system for support. So they start learning, hey, okay, this is some of the people that I'm in business with. Oh, okay, these look like some good people. Is it important to know who you're in business with?
Yes.
Do you think some of the top leaders here, we joined Kayani because of who the owners are, and we wanted to be in business with them? Absolutely. So it's important to know who you're in business with for a lot of people. This is a great way for them to learn who they're in business with. And see, hey, I'm getting, and then also learn, wow, there's a nice little support system here that I can be a part of. The new business partner hears important topics explained by the diamond leaders that the person launching may or may not know how to effectively articulate. Remember I said, you might be nervous to do the launch because you're like, well, I don't know if I can get the person to do this or do that, or I don't know if I can, here's the good news. If they're pre-launched, the diamond leader is going to talk about these important matters in the pre-launch. Do you know what I love about the pre-launch? When I can tell when a brand new person has been pre-launched. Because I'll get them started, I'll direct them to follow the system to do the pre-launch. You know, we have this launch schedule. I come to the launch and they walk in and they're excited still. I'm like, great. And we sit down and I go, okay, so what's your, let's talk about your why. They go, oh yeah, I learned about that last night. I thought about it for a while and here's, and then they start crying. Right? And I'm like, whoa. That normally doesn't happen. Normally I say, hey, what's your why? They go, oh, I want to make a lot of money. And then you got to spend 10 minutes talking about why that's not the great why. And then you got, and you have to open them up. Now they've had 24 hours to like really dig deep and think about that, right? And then I go, okay, so let's talk about the potato pack program. They go, oh yeah, I already donated last night. I'm like, whoa, you did? That's nice. Hey, and we got this thing coming up. It's called, maybe you're a brand, you're kind of new yourself. I'm like, well, the document says there's this thing. It's called the corporate convention, IOA. I don't know. You probably should. Right? They go, oh yeah, I learned all about that last night. Yeah, I want to go. How do I do it? Let's register right now. You're like, really? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm seeing this happen when I launch people, and I know they've gone through the pre-launch. So you don't have to be an expert to explain some of these. Important topics like the importance of their lives, the potato pack pledge, registering for the next big corporate conference. It's done in the pre-launch. They get them in the right mind. The leader, if you have a leader in your hand, they'll do it before they even come to the pre-launch. Or come to the launch, excuse me. But if they're not, they at least know the importance. So when you meet with them and you bring it up, they're like, yeah, I learned about that. Yeah, is that really something I should do? You're like, yeah, you should do it. Okay, I'll do it. You don't need to twist their arm because we've already sold them. Now they just need somebody to help them go through the process and finish it. Is this making sense? Yes or yes? Yes. It keeps the new business partner busy doing things you want them to do, not the things you don't want them to do, i.e. testing the waters, going and talking to their friends, listening to negative people, right? Because that's what happens. That's why they're not excited, because they went out and tested the waters, or they went and spoke with somebody, or they went and did their research online. And and there's nothing wrong with that, but here's what they do. They go, they don't know, they're excited, right? So they go home and they're like, let me go to YouTube. And they start looking at stuff on YouTube. Now, Mr. Bradford talks about YouTube all the time. I do love YouTube. I'm all about YouTube University. I learn from YouTube all the time. But there is a downside to YouTube. Do you realize YouTube is designed to redirect your thinking? You go for a specific matter, a message, and they specifically do this because they want you to stay on their website. So you go and look about something, and then on the right-hand side you see all these things that somewhat relate to it, right? And it's designed to draw your attention. That's where they know the eye actually goes to that area. And so you're looking, you're learning about, the brand new person's learning about Kayani, and then they see over here it says, don't do Kayani. And they go, what's this? And they go over and they click on it. And it's somebody who basically is in another company like Advocare or Herbalife who's trying to say all this other thing, and at the very end they say, but you can join our team. You actually have time to get your money back. Do you understand there's things out there like that? There's people, there's, what do you call those? The poachers or what do you call those? I don't know. Poacher isn't a good word. I'm thinking of another word, but I can't think of what it is. What is it?
Scammers.
Yeah, basically. Who are preying. They're literally preying. They're vultures, right? They're preying on brand new people who get involved in the industry. So, as Mr. Bradford said, we need to protect our new people. We got to nurture them like a mother, protect them like a father. I like to send people things that I have control of what they see, and they can't see anything else, right? And so this is one of the reasons that we do this, is we show them what we want them to look at. They're focusing on that. They're doing the steps. And it saves time at the launch. Who likes to save time at their launch? How great would it be to sit down with somebody and all the preliminary stuff is already done and you can focus your time on taking action rather than helping them figure out their whys, helping them understand the importance of this, and now explaining the power play and explaining how it all works. And you're all done training and you look at the time and you spend an hour and a half and you're like, oh man, I'm supposed to do some action with the person. But I'm tired and they're tired and you know what, come to the meeting, right? So this is designed to save people time, save you time during the launch so you can spend more time doing the action. So here's, for those who maybe don't know, who are new in the room, this is where you go. Of course, our support website, followsystem.net. When you send them to this website, there's no other option for them to do. Like literally, I mean, they could probably go to the top and take a look at some of these things, right? But actually they can't, they can only see this, they can see that, they can see that. They can contact us, which goes directly to me, and then I answer them and I reach out to their upline leader and say, hey, take care of this, right? But if they go over here, they cannot get that information. Why?
Password.
It's password protected. It's not open to the public. And they only get the passport when? At their launch. They get the password at their launch. This is the pre-launch. So they might go look at this stuff. That's great. This gets them a little bit more excited about what they're a part of. But they're really forced to do this. Subscribe and watch. And we have 2 different launch videos. One for the US and one for Canada. So literally when you have someone join your team and they go and click on the Canadian subscribe link, from that point forward, all the messages that come to them are Canada specific. The video they watch is Canada specific. It literally has details just for Canada that they need to know. How cool is that?
Great.
So they come to this website, they would click on which country they're a part of, and once they click on it, it brings them to the subscribe page. Now you're going to see why this is important. But they can't move forward unless they subscribe. And what are they subscribing to? They're subscribing to our team communication, our email communication, and give you a little update, a little hint, soon to be text message communication as well. So they enter their information, they hit sign up now, and as soon as they do it, it takes them directly to the pre-launch video. Who here has watched this pre-launch video? Wow. Okay, so here's what I'll tell you. I know this one has been fairly new, and most of you probably got launched before this came out, but here's what I will tell you. As a leadership group, and are you leaders, yes or yes?
Yes.
That's why we're here. As a leadership group, it's important for you to know what your new people are watching. True or true?
True.
It's important, because how do you know what was covered so that when you do the launch, you know what you can just basically say, hey, so tell me what your why is. Instead of spending 20 minutes explaining it, and they're sitting there, and they already know what it is because they thought about it the night before, right? So watch this. Now normally, I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to tell anyone in your team. See, for everyone that's brand new, the only way they find this video is by subscribing first. But there is another way for leaders to find this video. You have to go to menu and followthesystem.net, go to menu, go to learn your business, video trainings. And of course you need the password, right? Because public people that come across the website, they can't access this training. And what's the password?
Done for you.
All lowercase, number 4, the letter U. Done for you, all lowercase, number 4, the letter U. This allows you to access the specific training. And in the training videos, the very first video is the pre-launch welcome video. So you can actually watch it without having to go through the subscribe section, right? So for those who haven't watched a video, it's okay, I'm not going to be mad, I just want to know. Who hasn't watched a video? Pre-launch video? Show of hands. Can all of you that raise your hands now, can you commit to watch it? I'm going to say before the end of Diamond University. It's like 20 minutes. Can you commit to do that?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Excellent. So, and it's going to give you an idea of what we go over in this to prepare your brand new person. Now, why do we have them subscribe? Because we love automation. We love things being done for us. That's why we joined a business that's done for you. Right? So, how cool would it be to maybe you're brand new launching somebody. Maybe after this you're inspired, you're like, I'm gonna go launch, the next person joins my team, I'm gonna launch them. You get inspired. Do you think at that first launch you might forget something that you were supposed to cover and then you forgot it, right? And you leave that launch, you're like, oh man. Monday through Friday we have Breakfast at Champions calls. It's a great thing to get yourself motivated every day. And then you text back and go, oh yeah, I know, I got an email that told me about it. How cool would that be? Right? So we have an automated messaging system that literally sends information to your brand new distributor at the time that they need it most. And it does it automated, which means that it's done for you. And so when they get started, they get a little email. I'm sure everyone's got this email, actually the new people, right? They got started in the last, I would say, 6 months, right? We see this email. Now here's the great thing about this email is that not only does it welcome them to the team, it actually, in the email, directs them back to the welcome video and the pre-launch steps to success and launch document. So even if you forgot to give them the launch document, but you send them to followthesystem.net and they subscribe, guess what? Boop, now they have the launch document. They got the steps to success because it came in the email, right? Imagine how it feels on day 3 that they automatically get an email or now a text message soon, right? That will tell them, by the way, today's day 3 of your getting started in your tiny business. Congratulations. Just wanted to remind you and let you know that if you want to pre-register at the most discounted price for the Kayaning convention, today's the last day to do it for you. How cool would that be? How many of you, don't have to raise your hand, have forgot to share with your brand new person, right? And it, like 4 days, 5 days go by, and you're like, oh, that's right, I could have got them registered at a discounted price. Isn't it nice to know that there's a system that actually backs you and supports you in that? Day 5, they get a message showing them a video. It directs them to one of our trainings and follow the system to show them how to run a PBR. The video actually is a third-party network marketing video that we take the names out and everything so that you know we don't direct people elsewhere. And also it has some messages from James Bradford in there. One of the first PBRs he did early on, kind of showing how it's done. It's amazing, right? But now they watch it. I love that because I can tell who's watched that video. When I do a PBR, I usually send it myself to the person as well, and I show up and like everything's done. Right. Everything's set up the way it needs to be set up. But let's say you forgot to send that to a brand new person. Well, you show up to PBR and everything's set up perfectly. Like, wow, who told you to give everyone drinks when they first came? Who told you to put the little food in the side room and cover it? Who told you to have music playing? I forgot to tell you that. Like, oh, I got an email right before my PBR and it had me watch this video and 10 minutes showed me everything to do. Right? Automation. So typically, around day 5 is when they're doing their first PBR, or they did an emergency PBR and they're setting up for their second PBR. So it's a good time for them to receive it. Day 10, they receive our conference call schedule, all the calls, right, including the Breakfast Champions calls. Encourages the brand new person to schedule it in their calendar, right then and there, right? Day 28, here's a big one. 31-day recap. They receive an information automated on their 28th day, telling them, by the way, hey, you're just a couple days away from hitting your 31st day in our business. Just want to make sure you're aware that, number 1, there's an extra bonus on the table. You need to do X, Y, Z within 31 days to achieve that. Just want to make sure that you've done this as well. Because how many times you are having people join your team, and then you look at the people and you're like, oh man, they missed their 31st day. I didn't even realize it. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to make everybody a Garnet or hit the power play in 31 days, but at least it's going to save those people that just didn't know, right? Who could have done it, and they just didn't know. And again, it's all automated. So, let's wrap this up and talk about the launch document. So on page 10, first just look at page 10. You'll see all the stuff. We're not going to go through these, but these are the steps to go back to. Getting them started prior to the launch, you send them to follow the system, do the pre-launch. And then you do all the steps on page 10. And here's the reason why. Look where it says challenges when launching. How do you get your new business partner to do what they need to do, to take action? Is you dangle the carrot. You create value. You show them what they get if they do it. And show them what they'll lose if they don't. So the launch, the reason the launch is structured the way it's launched is to actually dangle the carrot. It's actually, remember what's the main purpose of the launch?
Take action.
One more time. The main purpose of the launch is?
Take action.
So we have them take action. That's the purpose. But sometimes you got to prepare their mind to take action, right? You got to build up the value. And so that's the purpose of this, right? That's why we talk about their why. That's why we show them how the power play works and what they're going to get from running the power play. And so that's creating value for them to take action right then and there. But here's the thing. You sit down with them at the launch, very simple. You help them enter their personal information at the top right corner. You provide them the information of their success team, who their sapphire is, who their ruby is, their emerald, their diamond. I give them their name, possibly even phone number, right? Review the reason why. Notice it says review. Why? Because if they went through the pre-launch, they already have it figured out. 99% of the time, they've already figured it out. They already wrote it down. And now I'm like, hey, so the document says, you know, your why. What is it? What is your why? Now I don't even have to spend time talking about it. And they come back with powerful whys because that video, the pre-launch video, gets them emotional, right? Shows them what's possible. And so now they give you a powerful why, you write it down, and here's a little tip. You should have a journal yourself when you're doing a launch. You should have that person's name at the top of that page, and when they're talking about their why, you should be writing it down as well. You should have that journal on you, keep it by you, or take that information and put it into your phone under their name, right? You have them saved in your name, and then under their contact, go down to notes, and put in their notes, their why. What they want. Why is this important? Because when they're having a down day, when things are not going that right, when they talk to their uncle who lives on his couch that, you know, has no job, broke, and tells them that network marketing is a scam, and they call you up and they're a little shaken, right? That's when you're like, hey, you know what? Sorry, one second. I'll be right there. Just hold on. And you pull up their information, and you scroll down, and you look at their why, and you go, okay, I'm sorry, I'm back, James. Okay, so hey man, I understand this happened. Things like this happen. That's part of the nature. But here's what I remember. You said that your why was to retire your parents. Has anything changed? No, that's still what I want to do. Is your broke uncle sitting on his couch, is he going to help you retire your parents? No, he can't. You know, that's why so are you going to buy his opinion? Because if you buy his opinion, you buy his lifestyle. Or are you going to listen to people that actually have done it and teach you how to do it? You know, and so you can use their why to get them back on track. So that's a little extra tip I wanted to give all you guys, to actually write down their why yourself as well. Review the power play and the Garnet action plan. Keyword, review, because it's already talked about in the pre-launch. So they should know and understand. What I did to review, I say, hey, you already learned about the power play. Can you explain to me what you have to do to run the power play? That's what I do in the launch. I have them explain to me. If they watch the pre-launch, they know. And if they're a little off, I tweak it a little bit. I say, okay, great. That's what we need to do. And I explain the value why. Top five. They're going to come, if they do the pre-launch, they're going to come already with the top five done. How great is that? I don't have to waste time sitting there, them going through their phone, this person, nah, I don't do that person, who's seen that? Who's done that? Talking about the top 5. They're sitting there, and they're just wasting time because they're nervous, but now you've had them prepare the night before, going through, thinking about it, writing it down, coming to the meeting prepared, so you're just like, so now when I do top five, I'm having them write it, transfer from the steps to success to the launch document, but each time they do, I say, I want you to write the name and I want you to tell me about this person. And I have them tell me about this person. This is important for me. Because I'm going to take action with these top five that night. I want to know who I want to go after first. I want to know how I'm going to go after. And they're talking about somebody who's a very, very high business person. I'm going to basically say, here's how you do it. I might change it a little bit based on the person at that launch. Right? I might say, hey, I want you to do a business approach. I want you to call a person and say, hey, I want you to get your opinion on something. I respect you. I respect what you've done in business. I'm actually sitting down with a gentleman who's launching a huge business locally here, spending a $500 million company, $250 million company. He only has a quick second, but he's looking for other entrepreneurial-minded people like you, and you're the first person that came to mind. I would love to get your opinion on it as well, but I want to make a connection. He just wants to say a quick hi, hello, right? I'm going to teach him how to do that. I'm going to use but I need to find out who these top five are. So when they're writing it down, I have them explain who they are. Review the script, set goals. Again, take action. If you're not having calls made or messages sent during the launch, you are not doing the launch properly. If messages are not being sent, calls are not being made, you are not doing the launch properly. That whole purpose, the reason you're sitting there next to them, if it was going over the information, we can send them to a video and they can go through the information. The reason that you are with them one-on-one, which I believe personally that's the best way to do a launch. That's why I teach people to do launches early. Because the whole purpose is for you to get them to take that step onto the rock and to start moving and start, you're going across the bridge. I've done it before, let me show you how to do it. And you're helping them go across the bridge. That's the whole purpose. So taking action. Teach them how to invite. Now this is the end of launch. Why? Because once now I've taken action with their top five. You've shown them a little results. Now a result might be that I talked to one of their key people, and the person says, yeah, I'm open to learning more about this, and I set up a Zoom presentation with that person. Do you realize that's results? That brand new person now is excited about that? What, you got a meeting with so-and-so? Oh, I'm excited about that, right? Now the next one's easier. Okay, who's the next top five? Next one's easier. Maybe I go to top 5 customers. Okay, who needs this? Great, let's get on the phone with so-and-so. They have diabetes, let me talk to them. I get on the phone with the person, I start telling stories. Maybe I send them a video testimonial. And that person says, you know what? What's the harm? 30-day money-back guarantee? I have nothing to lose. What's the harm? So they actually decide and agree to order the product. Now the person's like, wow, that was simple. I got a customer already. So now they're excited as high. Now they've seen results. The key to it. Now the launch meeting is almost over because now at the end though, I got to show them how to continue the process without me. And here's how you do that is you teach them now how to invite to an event. And there's a lot of ways of doing it. You can invite directly to the event. A lot of times I like to lead with some information first, a link, right? But we get them to an event, and that event is going to be their grand opening. So we schedule a grand opening, whether it's a Zoom meeting if they're not local, or it's a PBR if they're local. We schedule that whole meeting before the launch. Very important because you need something, a deadline for people to work towards. If they have a deadline to work towards, now, when you leave them, they're going to continue working. They're going to continue doing, you show them some success, now they're excited, now their confidence is even higher, so now they can start doing the work that you teach them with that deadline in mind. That's one of the most important things of a PBR, or a grand opening, a Zoom meeting, is giving them a deadline. We tell them they cannot cancel that meeting, right? And that's because we want them to take action between the time we leave them and the time of their first home meeting, because they're still on that shaky, drawbridge, right? And we got to get them to success. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Yes. Does that help? Who's committed to do a launch? Now, who's committed to do a launch with their next person? Awesome. Let's make it happen. So